Cito Pumps corner. He's got it done. That was beautiful. What a move that was then by Marquez. The crowd here, they're looking at the big screen on the main grandstand. They're going wild here. Miller trying to respond immediately with an attack on the brakes to turn 6. No way through. Marquez then on the podium here in Spain, and the fans love it. They're on the edge of their seats. They're on their feet. Marquez up to 3rd.
Marquez was so good on the brakes there into turn 6. It looked as if Miller had got the move back done with the straight line speed of that Ducati, but Marc Marquez able to get through. Aleix Espargaro knows now he needs to attack immediately, try and get quickly past the number 43 Ducati of Jack Miller. If he wants eyes on the podium, he needs to follow Marc Marquez quickly.
This was a lovely move. Look at this, the element of surprise in many respects from Marquez. There's not a lot of room there. Miller on a slightly wider line, and up the inside it was clean, it was clinical. It was Marc Marquez back to his best in many respects, and he moves up into 3rd place. Here comes Aleix Espargaro. As Lewis said, he has to find a way through on Miller. He squeezes the Aussie out.
Oh, wide.
Marquez was wide, and in the blink of an eye, Aleix Espargaro on the factory of Aprilia is now up into 3rd place. Marquez with all that hard work through again. Miller attacks him on the brakes into the first corner, and he gets it done. And of course, all this scrapping, all this battling out of nowhere, Joan Mir comes into contention for the podium.
This trio were in the 139s that lap, a 139.6 for Jack Miller as he was busy trying to fend off Aleix Espargaro and Marc Marquez. Joan Mir was a full 1.1 seconds quicker than the Ducati man ahead.
Now then, Aleix Espargaro was supremely confident in his end of race pace. Has he timed this to absolute perfection? Already he sweeps through turn number 5 with his daylight between himself and Miller and Marquez. He might have just been playing the patient waiting game now, Aleix Espargaro, picking his opportunity. Marquez got in hot in that final corner. Aleix Espargaro got up the inside of Jack Miller into turn 13 with Marquez wide. He said, "Thank you very much, I'll take P3." And of course for another podium for Aprilia.
So Aleix Espargaro is busy thinking about Jack Miller here, and you can see Marc Marquez just getting in a little hot. He loses the front, saves it on his knee.
Oh, that was a proper old style Marquez save, wasn't it? That was the reason why Marquez was wide. We have not seen that very often. He's not had the confidence and the feeling in that Repsol on the front end to make those kind of astonishing saves. That was brilliant stuff by Marquez. That was so close to disaster. Back at the front, and it's still very much game on. The gap through the 3rd sector on this lap 22 between Bagnaia and Quartararo, it got squeezed back down to just over half a second. Is there more late fireworks coming here from Quartararo?
Yeah, half a second. Quartararo for the 2nd lap in a row was faster than Bagnaia. It's just about enough at the moment from Bagnaia. He's still lapping in the mid-38s. The leaders were actually, for the first time, not the fastest riders on track. Aleix Espargaro was the quickest man on track last time around, up into 3rd place, a 138.3 for him.
Yeah, and you can see how hard Aleix Espargaro is pushing in, trying to make a decisive breakaway from Miller and Marquez. He had that front tyre, that hard Michelin front tyre moving around underneath him as he tipped it into that first corner. Thankfully for Aprilia, and thankfully for Aleix Espargaro, it hung in there, it gripped, and he is now starting to pull away from Miller and Marquez. Aleix Espargaro is already half a second now clear of the Australian, halfway around lap 23.
Joan Mir is firmly in this battle. You can see him just on the back of Marc Marquez, who's, I think, fed up of staring at the back of Jack Miller's Ducati, isn't he? He's been staring at it for the entire Grand Prix, aiming at a podium. They're now battling for 4th and 5th. Joan Mir just behind them, as you can see, in 6th. The lead between Bagnaia and Quartararo still hovering around the half-second mark, which has got 2.5 laps to go. If Quartararo had anything else up his sleeve, we think we'd have seen it by now. So is Bagnaia just about doing enough to keep the reigning world champion at bay? Just 2 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, Marquez then trying to regroup after that big front end washout at turn 13, which cost him 3rd place. He's done so much hard work to get that 3rd spot. Now then, here we are back at the front. Fabio Quartararo, you can see there visibly, this is as close as he's been to Pecco Bagnaia for the majority of this Grand Prix. It looks like Aleix Espargaro's got 3rd place covered at the moment. Bagnaia and Quartararo over the line, the gap was down to just over 0.4 of a second. We'll track Aleix Espargaro as well to see what his advantage is over Miller. He's increasing to 0.8 of a second at this stage of the race, as we suspected. Jack Miller and Marc Marquez do not have the speed of Aleix Espargaro. The Aprilia man was half a second quicker than Marquez, 4/10 quicker than Miller.
So what's Fabio Quartararo got up his sleeve? We're on the penultimate lap then of this Grand Prix. He needs to try and get himself within closing distance at the end of this penultimate lap. Where will be the places Quartararo can make a move? Turn 1 is a potential opportunity, turn 6 is another, and then the final, turn 13, the Jorge Lorenzo corner as the rear comes out for Pecco Bagnaia. He's giving it absolutely everything to keep the world champion at bay.
Sideways, wasn't he there, Pecco Bagnaia? He's throwing everything on the line here, as you knew he would do. He has to keep Fabio Quartararo at bay. Jorge Martinez got a long lap penalty to add to his miserable day here in his home Grand Prix in Spain. We come into the stadium section then for the penultimate lap here, the Red Bull Grand Prix of Spain, the Red Bull Grand Prix, and these two are locking horns here. Quartararo's quick through turn 10, isn't he, to the Pelican corner. You'd think he'd have the advantage in this sector 3 with the agility and the corner speed of that factory Yamaha. Here we go then, Bagnaia getting the message, team communication, 0.4 seconds the advantage. We've got 1 lap and 1 corner remaining here in Jerez. It will be Pecco Bagnaia that leads onto this decisive final lap.
With this margin, you feel like it's going to take a mistake for Pecco Bagnaia. 1 lap to go, it's just under half a second. It would take some effort from Fabio Quartararo to pull that back from this margin. If Bagnaia can keep it wheel perfect, he might just have enough here.
A 1:38.1 on a 24-lap old Michelin rear tyre. Stunning pace by Pecco Bagnaia. Aleix Espargaro looks like he is well set for another podium. He is going to look like he's going to convert a 3rd front row start into a 3rd podium finish this year. Over the line, he was nearly 1.4 seconds clear of Jack Miller as Aleix Espargaro then looks to take his 3rd Rossum of the season. Fabio Quartararo is running out of time here in Jerez. Is he going to be close enough to get close to the Ducati ahead of him? Bagnaia again sideways on that factory Duke into turn number 6. Quartararo looks like he's slightly got the better corner speed in that Dani Pedrosa corner. Now into sector 2. The gap still 4/10 of a second.
Marc Marquez hasn't given up on pole position yet, has he? He's swarming all over the back of Jack Miller. Both factory Ducatis under fire in this final half a lap.
So it's Miller trying to hang on to a hard-fought 4th place. Here he comes, Marquez up the inside into turn, and you can hear the roar of the crowd. They love it, they watch it on the big screens. Aleix Espargaro then looks like he's on course for a famous home Grand Prix podium here. But here is the battle for the race win. I think Fabio Quartararo will not be close enough. This has been impeccable by Pecco Bagnaia. He comes into the final corner. He's going to get this job done. Quartararo's leaving it too late. It has been brilliant. Bagnaia, he reigns in Spain. The Ducati man wins the Red Bull Grand Prix of Spain in 2022. What a race by Pecco Bagnaia. It was picture perfect from Pecco. He takes it by just under 3/10 from Fabio Quartararo. Aleix Espargaro does take a stunning podium. His 3rd of the season for the factory Aprilia team. They lose their contestants, of course. Marquez, what a job he did to take 4th place on that last lap from Miller. Miller drops to 5th after he was in 3rd for so long in that Grand Prix. Mir takes 6th, Nakagami 7th, Bastianini 8th, Bezzecchi 9th. Top job by the rookie there on the 72 bike. But what a ride by this man, Pecco Bagnaia. Fabio Quartararo was stunning last weekend in Portimao. He has not taken the win in the Spanish Grand Prix because Pecco Bagnaia on the factory Ducati on pole position yesterday with a new all-time lap record, obliterated the lap record, and he has led from start to finish, resisting incredible pressure from the world champion Fabio Quartararo, who crucially does extend his lead in the World Championship. Aleix Espargaro now will be our man 2nd in the standings. What a job though by Ducati. They win for the 2nd year in a row here in Jerez. 1st pole position since 2006, and that man will stand on the top step of the podium as the king of Jerez.
It didn't have the explosive fireworks of some previous battles here at Jerez over the years, but that was a high-quality duel between Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo. I don't think at any stage over the Grand Prix Quartararo just gestures, that was all I could do, that was all I had. Pecco Bagnaia just had too much for him in the end. I don't think at any stage in the Grand Prix was there more than a 10th or 2 in lap time between Quartararo and Bagnaia, and the fact that they finished 10.9 seconds clear of a brilliant Aleix Espargaro in 3rd place just tells you what kind of level Bagnaia and Quartararo were on today. They were quite exceptional.
absolutely brilliant performance by Alexis Spargo then, as confirmation of what we just said. Another sign of their massive progress. With today's podium, Aprilia will now officially lose their concessions. They will not care one jot. That's been the target. Alexis Spargo said he never wants concessions, and he is going to soak up and savour this very special moment, one of the best moments of his Grand Prix career. As you mentioned, all of these young riders, when they grow up in Spain, they come to worship their heroes at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's the home, really, of Spanish motorsport in terms of MotoGP, this Jerez circuit. And Alexis Spargo is on the podium here in Jerez, a moment he's dreamed of, I'm sure, for all of his life. Some fan gets a lucky souvenir as the gloves get tossed into the grandstands. And what a ride. So many outstanding rides in that 25-lap Grand Prix of Spain. PAGUYUBAN, of course, the race winner. A top ride by Fabio Quartararo. Brilliant by Alexis Spargo. But this man, Marc Marquez, who was pretty downbeat about his prospects of fighting anywhere near the podium yesterday, well, he was very, very close. He put up a fantastic fight. There was a big scare. It was one of the classic Marquez saves at turn 13 late on. Let's go down to pit lane. Simon Craig, I'm sure, is with a delighted Ducati boss, Gigi Dall'Igna.
Yes, Gigi, tell us what you...
In the Cito Ponce corner, he's got it done. That was beautiful. What a move that was then by Marquez. The crowd here, they're looking at the big screen on the main grandstand. They're going wild here. Miller trying to respond immediately with an attack on the brakes.